My manager thought she had me cornered. She thought she could overwork me, humiliate me, and then fire me like I was nothing. But what she didn't know was that I had one last trick up my sleeve, a plan so devastating it would cost her job, destroy her reputation, and drained the university's budget by 10 times more than what they had paid me. This is the story of how I turned my unfair firing into the sweetest revenge of my life. If you've ever had a boss who treated you unfairly or dreamed of watching karma strike back harder than you could imagine, hit that like button. You're about to hear one of the most brutal and satisfying revenge stories ever told, straight from the world of Reddit. And trust me, this one, you'll want to stick around until the end. It was the early 2010s. YouTube was still the Wild West. Content creation wasn't the career path it is today. It was risky, experimental, and few people knew how to do it well. That's when I landed what I thought was my big break, hired as a content creator for a university. The pay wasn't great, about $2,200 a month, but in those days, it was something. They wanted me to spearhead their new branding campaign on YouTube. I came in bright-eyed, motivated, ready to prove myself. But almost immediately, things felt off. On my second day, my manager called me into her office. She smiled sweetly and slid a document across the table. My KPI, 85 videos, 3 to 10 minutes each, in just 52 weeks. And here's the kicker, I wasn't just filming. I had to do everything: script writing, producing, casting, filming, sound, editing, even music. And no, they wouldn't pay for royalty-free music subscriptions. I had to compose my own using my own gear. And their equipment, it was prehistoric. Their cameras and computers could barely run in 720p, let alone 1080p. I looked at her and said, This is impossible. But she just gave me this condescending smile. Don't worry, it's not about quantity. As long as the quality is good, I won't hold you to the numbers. I wanted to believe her, so I did. The turn. Smoker's stigma. For the first month, she treated me decently, encouraging even. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could survive this grind. But then everything changed. One day, she found out I was a smoker, and it was like a switch flipped. Overnight, she turned hostile. Suddenly, everything I did was a problem. I came back from break smelling faintly of smoke. She scolded me. I clocked in 5 minutes late. Even after working 60-hour weeks, she wrote me up. Didn't answer my phone on a lunch break. She accused me of being unreliable. And when I vented to a colleague, she just sighed and facepalmed. Oh no, she hates smokers. She's gotten people fired for it before. That's when I knew I was in danger. If your boss started targeting you over something personal, would you quit or fight back? Let me know in the comments. Breaking point. The firing. 5 months in, it happened. I was called into the director's office. My stomach dropped. There she was, my manager, sitting there with this smug, gleeful expression like she had already won. The director frowned at me and said, "We're disappointed. It's halfway through the year and you've only made 30 videos. The target was 85. I pleaded my case, explained the endless overtime, the impossible workload, the fact that my videos had brought in record-breaking views. I even reminded them how my manager herself had said quality mattered more than quantity. But the director just waved it off. The KPI is 85. You're falling behind. We think it's best to cut the cord now. And then the dagger. My manager leaned back, smirking. We'll hire a professional production house to finish his work. Professional, like I wasn't one. That's when something inside me snapped, and a light bulb went off. You see, one of my responsibilities had been maintaining a database of production houses the university could call on for big projects, and my manager, she had no contacts in the industry. She would be relying entirely on that list. So I altered it. I changed all the contact numbers and emails, except for one. A single production house, one where a friend of mine worked as a junior director.
I called him up and laid out my plan. If his company got this contract, it would be huge. Months of guaranteed work, worth 6 figures. I'd coach him on how to pitch perfectly to the university, and in return, I'd take a standard finder's fee of 15%. He didn't hesitate. I'm in. And just like that, the trap was set. 2 days later, my friend's production house got the call. They came in armed with the exact playbook I had given them, every detail of the university's style, needs, and quirks. The director was impressed. My manager was stunned. "How do they know so much about our content?" she whispered. They signed on the spot. And here's the delicious part. Each video they produced cost 2 to 3 times my monthly salary. But because they had a full team, directors, producers, editors, assistants, they could churn out a new video every 2 to 3 days. In 4 months, they cranked out 50 videos. The university had just spent more than 100 months of my salary, and me? I was sitting back collecting my 15% cut, worth about 15 months of pay, enough for a holiday and to enroll in a prestigious film school overseas. And I thought that was the end. Sweet revenge, money in my pocket, and a fresh start. But oh no, karma wasn't done. I was sipping cocktails on a beach in Bali when my phone rang. It was my colleague, the same one who had warned me about my manager's hatred of smokers. Her voice was practically trembling with excitement. She said, "You won't believe this." Turns out the whole project had been given a budget equal to just a year and a half of my salary, but my ex-manager, in her desperate rush to prove herself, had approved spending 10 times that amount without authorization. The chancellor found out, and he was furious. The director got blasted. My manager? Fired. The empire she had tried to build on my back had collapsed because of her own arrogance. Picture it, the same woman who smiled smugly as I was fired, who thought she had replaced me with professionals, was now jobless, humiliated, her career in shambles. The university's budget shattered. The director publicly embarrassed. My friend promoted to full director at his production house. And me, sitting in paradise with a fat payout and a golden ticket to study at one of the best film schools in the world. They thought they had destroyed me, but in the end, they destroyed themselves. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it's just about patience, about letting people underestimate you until the moment they trip over their own arrogance. For me, the sweetest part wasn't the money. It wasn't even watching my ex-manager get fired. It was knowing that the very system they used to screw me was the same system that took them down.